evening, Bahamas, coming up tonight on our news.
An infant and his parents shot overnight.
The new BPL interim CEO speaks out.
Some of our very own face the wrath of Hurricane Harvey. We've got the details straight ahead.
Exploring the coral reefs off Golden Key. The story coming up.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Vonnie Tude. Topping news tonight, a baby boy was shot and killed in Baine Town early this morning after police say a gunman forced his way into a home on Ruperdine Lane and opened fire on the child and his parents. Police have arrested a 19-year-old man in connection with that triple shooting. Giorgio Baine reports.
A tragic event leads to an 8-month-old baby losing his life in a fatal shooting here in the Ruperdine Lane area.
Down this was I see the 73 years.
Right now I really feel seriously and sincerely depressed, seeing that a young innocent life that I have known from he born to the stage he's at right now. It hurts me to know that it's been taken away innocently, right, just and in front of parents. You know, it's hard.
Residents of the inner city community are in shock following this morning's triple shooting. According to police reports, a man had just arrived home around 3 a.m. when he was approached by a gunman who was known to him. Police say the shooter forced the man inside his home and opened fire, hitting the man, a female, and a baby. The child died on the scene while the man and woman were transported to hospital in serious condition. Family members tell us that the baby is 8-month-old Shelton Tinker Jr. The family's neighbor, Vernell Dawkins, says a truck filled with young men drove past his home last night and warned him to go inside.
I was sitting here last night. The fellas them passed one truck. They say, man, go inside. I get up, I go inside. Now this morning I hear the guy down the road, he shoot any girlfriend and the baby. Baby dead. So when you catch them, you gotta just do what you gotta do.
A neighbor, only identifying himself as Mr. Marshall, said he is overcome with sadness after hearing of the shooting. He called on members of the Baine Town community to come together and help to stop the violence.
It's very painful to know that something like that in our community happens, and it's to see a child that just come and just leave the world like that. It's painful to a lot of us.
Police have launched an island-wide search for a suspect, 19-year-old Anthon Davis Stevens, also known as Bigger or Giant of Dumping Ground Corner. An elderly neighbor says he's been living in the area for over 70 years and was frustrated and sickened to hear of the news.
But listen carefully. You know and I know and they know. They have to have stiffer penalty. The know these fellas got gun, huh? Right? You know it? And you know the got gun? Yeah. But until you 40 years, if you got it and you be fine with it, that's it, no more.
Well, first, before they start within the house, you know, be where mother, you know, the train of gun, and they wouldn't tell them put it down or call authorities or whatever. You know, I know you'd say, but you don't want to lock up the child, but then the same gun used against you, because you're sharing them so hard.
This family friend is appealing to the wider community to assist with funeral costs for the baby, whose life was taken way too soon.
I would feel horrible to know if it was mine. So therefore, anyone else who wants to come together as a team just to do something, you know, we should all get together because it's a whole community affected by it.
This latest killing brings the country's murder count for the year to 92. Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Baine.
Bahamas Power and Light has named Carson B. Harold as its new interim chief executive officer. Harold's appointment comes 1 week after former CEO Pamela Hill was terminated. Harold told reporters today he has an enormous task ahead of him. He pledged to keep the lights on, clamp down on fraud, and improve rocky relations with BPL's 2 unions. Jasmine Brown reports.
The new interim CEO spoke to the press during his first official day in office as he pledged to address a number of concerns plaguing the power company. Harold says while he's only been on the job for a few hours, he's noted that a key concern that needs to be addressed is those frequent blackouts.
I'm going to try to do a good job keeping the lights on, focusing on our reliability and customer service.
Harold replaces Hill, who was terminated by BPL's board of directors last week Monday. Hill had served in the top post for only 15 months after the former administration signed a management deal with Power Secure International. Harold's appointment also comes nearly 2 weeks after the company fired 3 junior employees in connection with a more than $2 million fraud scheme uncovered earlier this year. Officials also revealed that they are in the final stages of firing more employees from the company. The American executive says fraud is a concern he plans on tackling right away.
There are some things that we can do to help avoid that, but you know, if a group of people get together and decide to cheat, it's hard in the short run to catch it. And that's, as I have not seen the results of the audit investigation, but as my understanding of what happened was there was a group of people colluding, and they got away with it for a while.
Meantime, the Bahamas Electrical Managerial Union has expressed concerns over the suspension of 2 managers who were told they were suspended based on that forensic report. The union warned of drastic action. Harold says he is aware of the rising tension and plans on speaking with union officials soon.
Well, I'll certainly reach out to the union and listen to what their concerns are, discuss those with the board, and we'll develop a plan of action which tries to address those. My experience in the past is that you usually can have good relations with your labor, and that would certainly be my intention. It starts with listening to their concerns and then communicating to them what our expectations are.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Angliston Member of Parliament Glenys Hannah Martin holding an event at her constituency office at this hour, where she is expected to announce that she will challenge interim Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis for the party's top post during its 4-day convention in October. Hannah Martin is one of 4 PLP candidates left standing following the party's overwhelming defeat in the recent general election. Davis, who became interim leader when former Prime Minister Perry Christie left frontline politics, intends to run for leader. Former Attorney General Alfred Sayers, who challenged Christie for the leadership in January, said recently he is still considering whether to give it another go. Meanwhile, former Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe has announced that he intends to run for party chairman. The PLP convention is set for October 22nd to the 25th. Former Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkidis says he thinks it's a positive sign that the Bahamas dodged another downgrade by international credit ratings agency Moody's. On Friday, Moody's said the country's current rating was maintained based on the prospects for debt stabilization supported by government's fiscal consolidation program.
We all welcome the avoidance of the downgrade. We think that's positive. I think what Moody's effectively has done is given the government some time so that its plan can evolve. So, you know, in the next 12 to 18 months, we expect them to revisit, and by that time, you know, the full plan of this administration should have, begun to take shape.
Although officials are breathing a sigh of relief, Moody's has changed the country's economic outlook from stable to negative. Government has accused the former administration of leaving the cupboard bare. However, Halkidis says the Christie administration was on the right track when it came to managing the country's finances.
I think I still believe we were on the right track. Before Hurricane Matthew threw everything out of whack. Before Hurricane Matthew, we were headed for a deficit of under $100 million. Hurricane Matthew came in, devastated the country.
The government said in a statement it remains optimistic that economic growth prospects will gain more traction as the fiscal year progresses. Tropical storm Harvey continues to dump rain on East Texas, causing massive flooding and forcing thousands to evacuate. A number of Bahamians living in that state say they've never seen anything like it. April Sands reports.
Well, an unprecedented amount of flooding in Texas over the weekend has now left over 2,000 people in rescue homes. Well, over 30,000 people in Texas have been affected now by Hurricane Harvey, with 5,500 people forced to evacuate. And the danger is far from over. With forecasters predicting even more rain, Bahamians living in Texas are among those braving the storm. Bahamian Jason William Patrick, who lives in Houston, had a front row seat to some of the devastation caused outside his fourth-floor apartment. In an interview with BBC, he recalled watching some of his neighbors being rescued by helicopter.
I'm originally from the Bahamas, so I've gone through, dozens of hurricanes throughout my lifetime. And ironically, I've never seen anything like this. I've never felt incapacitated to this level. So with an 8-month-old in my household, I'm kind of worried about, just how long this is going to persist, considering that this can go on until Wednesday.
We also spoke with Angela Marchette and her Bahamian grandmother, Myrna Thompson, who said while she has experienced many hurricanes before, Harvey tops them all. Thompson and her grandmother stood inside their neighbor's garage in waist-deep water.
Okay, so me and my grandmother are out of the attic. We are at the neighbor's house, but we're trying to wait for boats. We're trying to wait for boats.
With the Hispanics.
We're trying to make the most out of this because we are waist deep in water right now.
She said her area on the southeast side of Houston had a mandatory evacuation.
We are at my parents' house, which is her son. They only live probably about 10 minutes from where we were, but they don't get flooding over here like the neighborhood that we were in. The water did get kind of high, but not up in, to the house. So we were able, once we got rescued, a guy was trying to take everyone to the school. And I said, well, can you just take us up a little further up? Because my parents live right there around the corner.
I've never seen so much water in my entire life because the water rose real quickly. And because where I live near a creek, Clear Creek. And once that rises, then you have to try and get out as soon as possible. So this is the most devastating one I've ever been through.
And another Bahamian we spoke to says she's never seen anything like the damage caused by Hurricane Harvey.
I was at home for Matthew. I went through Matthew last year, and we were on the southern part of the island. So our house got some damage. This is totally different. This is more flooding, where you could just have rain and not see the flooding coming. You have to wake up about every 2 hours during the night to make sure there's no water coming into the house. And if there is, then it's kind of like you determine the plan. So we're going to go upstairs if the house does flood.
Experts have said Harvey will likely surpass 2008's Hurricane Ike and 2001's tropical storm Allison, two of the most destructive storms to hit the Gulf Coast in recent memory. Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
Still to come on our news, our Kyle Joaquin goes under the sea. Plus, Baine Town students get free uniforms. That's coming up after the break.
No one does summer like we do. It's just a way of life. Light it up. Bring down the feet. Come close to me. Come feel the heat. Light it up. Bring down the feet. Come close to me. Together we light it up.
Our time is now. We own summer. We are alive.
It's summertime again, and Commonwealth Bank wants to know, are you set? Get set for all your summer expenses with a personal loan from Commonwealth Bank. The cash you need for summer travel, summer excitement, summer fun. Get fast approval and great service. Plus, your choice of MasterCards. You could even win weekly cash prizes and a $5,000 grand prize. So get cash and get set at Commonwealth Bank. Visit us for your summer loan.
KFC, made for moms. Yes, for this mom. And for her too. Or for her. I don't know how she does it, but she does. KFC, made for mom. Enjoy the Mom's Day Off bucket from KFC. Enjoy 8 pieces of chicken, 2 large sides, 4 biscuits, and 2-liter Pepsi, all for $25, including VAT. KFC Nassau, celebrating 50 years of finger-licking good.
Heading into another boring summer? Let Fidelity Bank help to save your summer by entering to win a luxury summer vacation. That's right, Fidelity is flying you and a friend to Las Vegas for an all-expense-paid luxury 5-day, 4-night vacation. Fidelity is also giving away weekly prizes, including a weekend stay at Baha Mar, a $500 shopping spree, John Bull gift certificates, day trips for 2, dinner passes, and much, much more. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The best choice I've ever made is when I came back to the Water and Sewage Corporation. It felt like the more I shower, the more I wanted to shower. I felt like I was on top of a mountain and you know the pure water of the sky just flowing on your body.
The Water and Sewage Corporation's offer of 50% off sign-up services is back for residents in New Providence and the Family Islands. Offer valid for a limited time only. Some restrictions may apply. Sign up today. The Water and Sewage Corporation. Committed to growth, committed to quality.
We want you! On September 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Island Luck is hosting their 2nd annual job fair at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. Come dressed and prepared for on-the-ground interviews, along with a recent police record, current resume, and a copy of your valid Bahamian passport. We're looking to fill positions from cashiers to customer relations managers, securities, administrative assistants, and so much more. This event is also open to Family Islanders, so come on out to our 2nd annual job fair under the banner. Island Luck. Winners live here.
Efforts are underway to revitalize and maintain coral reefs in waters off western New Providence. Today, that project was handed over to 2 local partners. Here's Kawa.
It's a beauty sitting in water 15 feet deep off Golden Key near the shores of Clifton Heritage Park in western New Providence. The Coral Engine, an open water coral nursery that contains both asexually gathered coral fragments as well as sexually established coral juveniles obtained from several coral spawning events. In 2010, Dutch dredging and marine contractor Van Oord launched the Coral Rehabilitation Initiative as part of its sustainability and marine ingenuity agenda. Today, Van Oord handed over the maintenance of the nursery to local partners Stewart's Cove, the Bahamas Reef Environment Education Foundation, and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force.
Here is our 3rd year, and basically we have now used all our experience basically to put, let's say, the products of our efforts into what we now call a coral engine, which basically is an in situ nursery where we collect both coral fragments, which are a bit larger already, but which are not genetically diverse, and we have these sexually produced corals, which are genetically diverse but a bit smaller. But by having those 2 in one nursery, yeah, we've got an excellent self-growing stock of corals that we can use for reef rehabilitation.
I noticed recently at Southwest Reef we never had elkhorn coral out there, but now we have a whole field of beautiful, healthy elkhorn, and I think that might be a place to get some samples from.
Globally, it's estimated that coral reefs are worth over $357 billion a year in terms of the benefits, the goods and services that they provide to us. So we often take them for granted, but they are truly valuable to us. In particular, they support a $36 billion tourism industry around the world. People want to come and see coral reefs. They are one of the most beautiful habitats on the planet.
And after that, it was the boat ride past the sculpture garden to the Coral Engine. The Coral Engine can be utilized for the creation or active rehabilitation of coral reefs surrounding its location. Defense Force Marines as well as students from the University of the Bahamas joined us for the scuba trip. Even my cameraman, Shamiko, got in on some of the fun. The main idea of this initiative was to demonstrate that already proven small-scale coral breeding techniques can be scaled up, thus creating tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of lab-cultured juvenile corals. The result, breathtaking underwater beauty that does marine life well here in the Bahamas.
Always greener in somebody else's lake.
You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here.
For our news, I'm Kyle Walking.
I wish I could swim. When our news comes back from the break, students in Baine Town and Grantstown treated to new uniforms ahead of the new school year, so stay with us.
This is what it feels like. No, I don't even know if I'm alive. Oh, without you now, this is what it feels like.
Looking to restore your tiles, concrete, and marble floors? Having a hard time cleaning your building, parking lot, and sidewalks? Or maybe you simply want to get rid of gum and those nasty greasy stains and exterior blemishes? Call J&N Improvement today. We provide a variety of services to a wide array of professionals, including corporate business offices, medical offices, restaurants, schools, universities, and all locations that need professional and reliable cleaning services. Give us a call today. J&N Improvement, your property doctors.
At Henry F. Store Electric Company, we supply all your electric needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Store Electric, number 135 Macklin Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
The man in the boat sculling round Bahamas. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. The Bohemian beer, good right over here. If you bow to the Bohemian, raise your signs in the air. The man in the boat sculling round Bahamas. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. 100% Bohemian owned, keep them foreign guys.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Store or your favorite restaurant or liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Traveling to the Family Islands, taking in the beauty as you move across the ocean, clear skies and calm seas. The clean sea air, a refreshing beverage in hand, and the wind blowing in your face. You can't imagine a better way to travel until you realize. Don't just imagine it, do it. For the best way to get to your Family Island destination, Bahamas Ferries. We make the connection.
The Carl's Jr. definition of a boss is a person who exudes confidence, turns heads, and grabs big challenges with two hands. That's why we created the Boss Burger and the Double Boss Burger with Thousand Island sauce, grilled onions, Swiss and American cheese on 100% ground beef and a sesame seed bun. Pull up to any of Carl's Jr.'s 3 locations. The only question we will ask you is, do you feel like a boss or a double boss today?
I'm a boss. I'm a boss. I'm a boss.
Eat like you mean it.